Hi, this project will be presented by ChristianFarfan. The purpose of this project. As it is already mentioned, the name of my project is AvoCap. It is not an application yet, it works as a web application at the moment. What I would like to achieve building this project is let people know that it's possible to save time at the moment when they are shopping, this by doing it online, and make them aware about the wide variety of healthy food that exists nowadays. The items offered will be vegan. Here the competitive difference comes up, being that people want to improve their health, but they don't know where and they don't know how can get such food. Technologies used. For the front end, ReactJs will work at the top of our web application, creating a dynamic client side by first HTML, then handlebars, and here is where NodeJs plays an important role, being that it will require different libraries as jQuery, Bootstrap, and such template engine, in this case, handlebars. I don't have anything much further to add for the front end, except to mention that Bootstrap, altogether with CSS, were used to design the template. For the backend, we have ExpressJs as a server-side framework, running inside a Node.js server. This framework will help with the URL routing and will handle the HTTP requests and HTTP responses. The connection between the front end and ExpressJs will be by different requests, gets and posts. The database. My application stores the data on JSON documents. I choose this option because the way MongoDB works with JSON data is more efficient. Everything from its command line interface is built on JavaScript. The way it relates with Node.js and how easily it manipulates JSON data grabbed my attention. To make possible display the data, the web application will do so by using MongoDB Atlas or MongoDB Compass or even Mongo Shell. And as I already mentioned, the runtime environment will be Node.js. I'd like to show you how my project works. Stay tuned. As my web application is already in the cloud, I'll just paste the URL. The first page that will be launched is this one, the catalog. A brief explanation about this view. Basically, it is a list. Each item has different details, such as the name of the image, the description, and the price of the item. Below each price, a button will allow the client to add such item to the cart. I need to mention something important. I didn't want to use any specific brand for the images, as for example, an image from the Tesco, or Lidl, or Aldi. This was because I didn't want to get into copyright issues. Reason why I just decided to edit my own images. The catalog contains only 10 items, but as this page works with a loop, it's possible to add as much items as the admin wants. I will show you how the items are stored in the database. The way that my products are stored is this one. I just logged into my MongoDB Atlas account. As you can see, I have the database in the bottom, my DB. The one contains 4 collections: orders, products, sessions, and users. Each collection with its own documents, and the structure for the products collections looks like this. We have the image path, we have the title, we have the description, and we have the price. It's possible to add an item by different ways using the MongoDB tools, such MongoDB Atlas, MongoDB Compass, or simply by the Mongo Shell. Another option, but not the best recommendation, is to deploy the web application again by modifying the code. Coming back to our site, at the top of the nav bar is set with the name of the web application and the name of the different pages, such as the catalog, where all the items are stored, the cart, where the items picked by the user stayed previously during the checkout, the user, where the customer can sign up or log in, the Contact Us page where the client can send any message concerned to the web application directly to the admin, and finally the About Us page, where it's possible to know more about this shop. I would like to emphasize on the catalog and in the About Us page, being that these are unlocked, so there's no necessity for the user to be logged in, and the remaining pages are locked. So the user needs to do login on those. I decided to implement this system so there won't be any commitment at all if the customer just wants to check the list of the products or the prices, or even just to know what the shop does. On the other hand, if the customer desires to order, it will be necessary to create an account to continue. Now, let's add some items to the cart. As we are adding items to the cart, then this number is going to increase. Let's do it. For this example, I'm just going to choose a protein powder, one item. And as we can see, the number is increasing. Then, what happens if we want to check the cart? We have to do login. So we are going to introduce our credentials and user not found. We have to create a new account. We're going to sign up instead, and we're going to put our details. Something important to say here. I was working on the phone number field. I wanted to validate this field, but I couldn't do it. This one is one of the features that I need to work on it in the coming days. So I'm just gonna introduce a random number, and I'm just gonna introduce a invalid email. I'm just gonna introduce a valid password, and here we go, invalid email. We're gonna introduce our details again. This time a valid email, and this time you're just going to introduce a password with just one digit. What is going to happen? It's important to say that I set my code with a minimum of 4 digits for the password. So this time I'm just going to introduce the right credentials, and we are signed up successfully, and the user has been added to the database. We are gonna check our database. Here we go. We're just gonna refresh the database, and as we can see, we are in our database and the collection users, and here we go. We have the email, we have the full name, the phone, and the password hash. Before I continue, it's important to mention something. The module I used to send and receive emails from the web application was not Mailer. To use this feature, it's just necessary to create an account, set the environment, and you are ready to go. For this web application, I'm just hosting with Gmail's account. Reason why it may not work with Hotmail, Outlook, Yahoo, or any other email provider. This is another issue that I would like to fix in the future, in the coming days. Coming back to the web application, by this message, the site confirms that the email confirmation has been set to the customer inbox, reason why I have already opened my Gmail account. Here we go. As we can see, we have this message. This email, sorry. Basically, the email we got has these details. At the bottom of the body, a link is automatically set. Once the user has clicked in this link, the personal account on the web application will appear. Once the client has logged in, it will be possible to navigate through the site. It will be possible to check the items added previously into the cart. Being on the cart page, some characteristics are here. It's possible to add and it's possible to reduce the items by 1. It's possible to remove the whole line. We have the total amount of items per line, and we have the total amount of money per products added. Now that the user has decided to order the item, it's time to proceed for the checkout. Another form is showing up on this page. Why? It's necessary to create a receipt for the customer as an evidence that the order was done. To make possible this step, some information needs to be provided. I'm entering my name, a random number. I'm just gonna enter an invalid email. As you can see, there's a message below indicating that the email is invalid. I'm just gonna enter a valid email. Here we go. Another issue that I need to work on is on the calendar, being that there is not enough error handling at the moment to input data. As for example, I'm just gonna input the date from tomorrow, and I'm just gonna choose 3 AM to pick my product. As you can see, this date and hour is invalid, but anyways, the system is gonna accept it, and it's gonna be possible to print my receipt. Once the client has submitted the form, a PDF receipt will be downloaded automatically. The design is simple. As my experience using this library is quite short, I just decided to keep it simple, with the name of the web application at the top, and then the fields that were entered by the user. The library I used to perform this feature was JSPDF. Having done the checkout and coming back to the user profile, you can notice that the cart is empty. Being that the order has gone to the client history on the profile page. The date and hour chosen by the user previously are at the bottom of each order. This will help to keep a better record. At the same time, the order has been stored on the database. The way that my orders are stored in the database is the following. Swapping into the MongoDB Atlas account again, the structure for the orders collection looks like this. We are in the database, in the orders collection, and we have the document where the item was stored. We have the price, we have the quantity. And at the bottom of the document of each item, there are two fields, the status and picked at. The status is set automatically when the checkout form is submitted, so the admin can manage this option by setting the time when the order is picked and set the status to item already picked. Now we're gonna make an example how it works. We're just gonna change this item to item already picked, and we are gonna set today at 19 hours. We're gonna update, and here we go. Our status has changed, as well the hour. As you can see, it's really easy to manage the data by MongoDB. It's possible to use MongoDB Compass as well, or even Mongo Shell. Let's look at them. We are in the MongoDB Compass locally. Here is our last order. At this time, we have not refreshed our data. We just refresh. Here we go. The item already picked. The status has changed. If we want to check the Mongo shell, it's just gonna necessary to introduce some commands. Here we go. This is the last order made. And as we can see, this is the status that has changed. If the customer wants to make a suggestion or a recommendation or even a complaint, this will be possible by a message that will be sent from the Contact Us page. To do so, we need to provide some information. We enter the name, we enter an email, and again, you can see below we have a message that our email is invalid. We enter a right email and a random number. And we enter a simple message. You submit the message and we got it. It was okay. Now we are gonna check in our inbox. Just gonna refresh my email, and here we go. Here's the details. Thank you for the products. 0 minutes ago. Maybe you could notice that I have as well the notification email for the sign up. This is because I have linked my accounts in Gmail. So there are two different emails. Basically, this is the way how my web application works. Appreciate the time spent to watch this presentation. Regards.